Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Celtic Way for the post-match briefing, dissection, whatever you want to call it. After Hearts 2, Celtic 0, Celtic squander the chance to go ahead in the table once again. I think that's probably half the story, and we'll get into talking about that as people come in. Yeah, I think there's some opinions that you've got, Tony, about the game as a whole, but we'll try our best to keep it as balanced as we can. Thank you to everybody that's joining us so far, and as people start to come in. This video is going to be sponsored by MPH Group and Navien Boilers. All their links will be in the description. If you are interested in supporting us just that wee bit more, please press the subscribe button both at the bottom of your screen and subscribe to the website at www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. On there, there's instant analysis from Tony, player ratings from myself. We get the press conferences. We'll also get the press conference on YouTube, Brendan Rodgers one, which is a 7-minute one that's probably not to be missed. I think he certainly goes into the game. But yeah, Tony, what's your thoughts on that? It's a game that has a lot of talking points, I would say. So how are you feeling just maybe about an hour and a half away from full time?
I'm actually in full agreement with the manager. The officials decided that game today, or one official in particular, John Beaton in the VAR, or the VAR room, whatever you want to say, just took the game away from Celtic with two decisions that affected the outcome of the game. The manager said it was incompetence, and I agree with that completely. Can't afford to be missing penalty kicks, causing the passage of play after that. I think Yang get sent off. It was a poor penalty. Just when you think you've discovered the penalty taker, Adam Ida freezes in the
Palmer back on them for next week.
I wouldn't go that far. But, you know, there's only one man who has seen infringements in both of those incidents. And I actually think Celtic's penalty, I think Vara took 3 big calls today, and I think he got every one of them wrong. So I'll say that as well. I'm not so sure that Celtic was a penalty. I've only seen it in real time. But yeah, 3 big calls. Got it. 2 big calls that went against Celtic have influenced the outcome of the match. Yang gets sent off. The referee dealt with that. Yang, there's no intent there. There's no maliciousness. It's a high foot. It's reckless, but it's not malicious because he's got his eyes on the ball all the time. And I think Alex Cochrane has blindsided him. I'm not disputing it's a high boot, and I think the manager said you can use still and freeze frames and make it look worse than it is. But there's no, the referee had dealt with it. He gave him a booking, which I thought sufficed. But John Beaton's the man who tells him to go and have a look. In the minute that was the possibility of a red card, we looked at each other and said, this is going to get rescinded, he's going to send him off. And then the penalty, somebody has to explain the handball with me then. Because I'm reading IFAB stuff and saying that if you get pushed into the ball by a teammate or an opponent and it hits your hand, then it's not a penalty, is that right? And that's what happened. You get nudged by Alistair Johnston. He doesn't even know where the ball is and it hits his hand. So how can that be an intentional handball in the penalty area, and how Celtic can get a penalty given against him for that is utterly beyond me. I mean,
that's the one I have the most trouble with, or trouble understanding, because it's Johnson, and I wanted to go through the game in chronological order, but I think that you've mentioned it. We've got to discuss that because I think it was one of the real turning points in the game, along with the red card, which, in my opinion, I've got to be perfectly honest, I think it was a red card, because if it's a red card at St Mirren for the one at the Smisa Stadium for the striker, I think it was Olasanya. Correct me if I'm wrong. He boots Joe Hart. I think it's very similar between the two. I've seen it a couple of times, and if it's me and if it's Celtic, I'm screaming for it. I'll be perfectly honest. But
I thought that was harsh and extreme as well when the St Mirren lad gets sent off, because it was a ball into the box and Joe Hart's come for it. And he had every right to go for it. It was just mistimed. And again, I think the same with Yags today. It's mistimed. It's not malicious. He didn't go in and put him in the head deliberately. When you see some high boot challenges, both guys in those instances, I think their eyes were on the ball and have unfortunately connected. They're read on Twitter that he connected not actually with his head, he's high up on his shoulder.
you run the risk, is
Of
what I would
course,
say. You run
yeah.
the risk. And Yang, I think, is quite careless in that, in which it's a rush of blood to the head in terms of he wants the ball and, you know, he follows through and the player and studs him. I'm not sure how much contact there was in Alex Cochrane, but the player's obviously going to go down if they feel that contact. Brendan Rodgers after the game, which you can see on the YouTube channel, he's saying that the game was getting re-refereed. The one that I have the problem with is the penalty that's given. I don't know where Iwata's hand or arm or shoulder, whatever it was that struck him, is supposed to be in that position. Alistair Johnson nudges him.
What can you do about that? It's very similar to the one that bounced up at Matt O'Reilly. You know, he didn't know anything about it, did he? Or the one when Bernaby jumped against Dundee United that hit his arm. You know, he had his back to it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Water doesn't know where the ball is.
Mm-hmm.
So how can that, in any shape or form, be deemed a handball? And I know everybody on this side of the city then is going to point to all the various instances involving Connor Goldson. Don't care about Connor Goldson. I care about today. You know, but I think the comparison is well that somebody has to come out and explain the handball rule then.
I just think there's a lot of dubiety with the rules in general. You know, when IFAB screenshots are getting shared, when Chris Boyd at halftime is saying that it wasn't a penalty, you know, but the referees have given it as a penalty, then there's no clear area, or there's plenty of grey areas with this. There's no clear area whatsoever. But what I would say,
today was staggering incompetence, and I'm even admitting that I can't say for certain that the penalty award that Celtic got was a definite penalty because I've only seen it in real time.
I thought that was a penalty because you've got goal side and it got taken down. But you've got to take the opportunity when it comes. Adamida steps up, puts it down the middle. I'm not complaining that he puts it down the middle, but it was gives Xander Clark an easy save to make with his feet, not even with his hands, with his feet. And I think that set the tone of the game. You know, Hearts got a lift from that. They also got a lift because Yang gets sent off 3 minutes later. I think it's 3 minutes between the missed penalty and the sending off. From then it was an up. From then, and if we've got to be perfectly honest, it's an uphill task. You know, Tynecastle's a very, very difficult place for teams to come, and loads of teams have felt that in the past, and Celtic were today. You know, crowd were up for it, and Hearts' players took a lift from the fact that they were playing against 10 men. They saw an opportunity, and they took it.
But of course, but you get back to there has been 2 decisions in this game today that have gone against Celtic and have affected the outcome of the game. And the title race, as close as it is, these things can come back to haunt you and bite you. And, you know, so Hearts played well. When Celtic were reduced to 10 men, they took their penalty and scored it, unlike Celtic. So, you know, that's bang, but you can't be missing penalties. And Celtic have had their fair share of penalty woes this season. Back to the drawing board with that one, as you can see. But you cannot get away from the fact that VAR re-refereed the game today after the referee had made the decisions twice. Nobody knew whose hand that ball struck. No Hearts player claimed for it, did they?
There was no
furore about it at all. The referee had a clear view of it, saw it for what it was, and then twice he's asked to go back to the monitor. You know, he gave a yellow card for Yang because he saw it in real time, and as I say, there was no malice, but you can show various stills of the boot being high and make it look a lot worse than what actually happened. And I get that, that's fine, but do they fall into the seen them given category? Well, you've seen them given on both occasions today, which cost Celtic dearly, cost them the match, and the manager said so.
Bring this up as well, and I think this is an important point to highlight. Just to be honest, to be perfectly honest, I know you can talk about referees all day, but the better team did win today. Hearts were the better team,
but they were the better team on the strength of 2 decisions. Celtic got down to 10 men, and they also got a penalty to go ahead. So they took advantage of those situations. You have to see that, but they were the better team. Right? I'm fully aware of that. Yeah, I'm fully aware of that.
Yeah, but do we talk about individual players? It seems as if the game has been sort of, that is the main talking point is the referees, and you don't want that to be the case whatsoever. You want the game, what happens on the pitch, to be the talking points. But it seems as if everybody at the moment is talking about off the pitch issues, but with VAR and the referee as well. We could go through individual players. It sets the tone. I thought Yang. Before
Celtic started brightly.
Yeah, and I think that's important to.
Celtic keep 11 players on the pitch. I think they'd have won that football match.
Yeah, so absolutely.
The first decision greatly affects the outcome of the football match. The second decision compounds it because you're giving your opponents who were in the ascendancy at that point the chance to go ahead with a free shot to goal. Celtic got the chance to go. I'm not abdicating responsibility on that one. Celtic blew their chance, but if Celtic scored that, then the passage of play that led to Yang saying they'll probably wouldn't have happened with it, because I think it came as a direct consequence of a couple of minutes later, but it was still.
It was on his mind.
Xander Clark saved it, and the ball was being shunted around, and then Yang gets sent off. So these things.
It's a different game. It's a different game if he does scores the penalty. And for Celtic, they've got to control the controllables in the game. They had a chance to go ahead from 12 yards, and either who has been spotless, who's been spotless with his penalties thus far. Showed that he is human with 12 yards with a quite a woeful penalty. If we're being perfectly honest, it was a really, really poor one. Like you said, I thought Celtic started the game really well. They had opportunities. I think there was a chance early on that Yang had a really good run into the box. I was trying to make something happen from the wide areas. I thought he looked really bright, and in my notes before the sending off, I was saying that he was one of Celtic's bright spots in the game thus far. The opening 10 minutes, I thought he was somebody that was making things happen. Maeda was making things happen as well from the left hand side. Matt O'Reilly looked to be trying to make things happen. There was a good chance when Celtic had went down to 10 men, and when they went down to 10 men, that Matt O'Reilly had a chance to put the ball in the back of the net. It was a great finish from the player, but Adam Meada's offside in the lead up to that. That's really disappointing.
Adam Meada's got to read the line there as well, because he's gone too early, and if he's reading the line, he'll stay on, and that goal will count. It was an excellent strike by Matt O'Reilly, but again, I think everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong today. The minute Yang was red carded, the team just affected the balance, the shape of the team badly. Sorry, you probably hear background noise. We're in the president, we'll do our best to hope that everything comes down, because everybody's still leaving at this moment in time.
And see, to be fair, Celtic did have chances in the second half, and I actually thought Kyogo was quite good in making chances for the team. When he came on, he looked bright, he looked positive, but he was matched by a really good goalkeeping performance in Xander Clark today. Xander Clark didn't put a foot wrong, saved the penalty, saved him some really good shots as well. Kyogo looked like a player that was trying to make things happen, and the two, Ida and Kyogo, were linking up okay, but you're fighting a losing battle basically when you're down to 10 men and you're losing 2-0 as well by the time.
The second half's goal, 56 minutes, just killed it as a contest.
They got away with one with the VAR call on Shankland, which was a well worked goal from Shankland's
tight one, wasn't it? And I think Celtic got the bit. That's the only benefit that Celtic got today. Along with the penalty, I've still to see them all again. I've only seen them in real time, but I think you have to say the decisions greatly affected Celtic performance today, because they did start well, and had they kept 11 on the park, I'd have been quite confident they would have gone on and won that game, but you'll never know. And to say I agree wholeheartedly with the manager who said it was just incompetence by the official and the re-reffing of the game by an official who's not on the field, and it's had a major impact and bearing on today's proceedings. And it could cost Celtic in the title running. You just don't know. And so
at the moment, it's as is in the league, and I guess that's the only positive that you can take from or any positive or any semblance of a positive from today's game is the fact that it's as is. Nothing's changed from Friday, from Saturday afternoon. The gap is still the same. I know Rangers are 2 points clear at this point in time. It's a great chance for Celtic to go a point clear in the league table, but it's as is at the moment. There is damage done psychologically, but in terms of the gap between Celtic and Rangers, nothing has changed.
I don't think anybody would have put money on Rangers and Celtic both losing this weekend. So
if they did, they'll be in at a pretty penny. That's for sure.
Yeah, it'd have been a nice wee double. But so yeah, it's listen, I know this kind of decisions go for you and decisions go against you, but Brent Rodgers was the first to say today he's never complained about, I've never heard him complain about officials and with any of his teams, but I wholeheartedly agree with him today. Those decisions had influenced the game, they influenced the outcome of the football match, and you cannot get away from that.
Yeah, it's a very disappointing afternoon. One that we hoped that would promise so much for Celtic in terms of getting the momentum. And they were coming into the game with a great bit of momentum. Even in the opening stages, you could see that momentum from the away side, and they were playing really well. But these chances, if you don't take your chances, they change games, and when it stays at nothing each, anything can happen. And the red card compiled with 2 goals from Hearts made the home side win the game, and on the balance of play, deservedly so, but it was affected by the decisions that were made on the park. I don't want to. It's difficult to.
I still want to know what John Beaton and Don Robertson are seeing in both of those incidents, and you can't escape that. And only those two can tell you what's going through their mind and what we saw in those incidents. Because the majority of others didn't see what they were seeing. So that is what it is. You have to suck it up. And Celtic had to suck it up. They've got a chance to go top of the table. And yeah, the status quo remains. They remain 2 points.
They can still go top of the league with the next game played, because they play on Saturday and Rangers play on Sunday at Dens Park. That's a week on Saturday. Of course, it's cup duty next week, but it is
but you can't be missing penalties, right?
That's the bread and butter. They're bread and butter opportunities for the team, and when they don't.
And Celtic have suffered with that throughout the season. And so people are in the comment section say that. Well, Beaton recommends you review them, but the referee can still stand by a decision, can't he?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's the fact that he's been drawn to the monitor that puts the doubt in his head, then, isn't it? I guess only those two will know what conversations were had and what was said. And so, yeah, it's. But when Celtic get an opportunity from 12 yards to score, they should score.
Mm-hmm. Especially from a player that's been scoring penalties this season. It's his first missed penalty. I suppose if you're going to get a lot of penalties, then you are going to miss some of them. And Ida has had a lot of penalties. That's. I mean, he's had 2. Is that his 3rd penalty?
He stuck penalty, took 2 against Easter Road, didn't he? And he scored them, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd gone to the corner both times, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them, so he went down the middle.
I don't have a problem with him going down the middle. It's just the actual taking of the penalty that was a problem, I think. Very, very tame.
A weak effort, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just very disappointing all in. Individually, looking at players, I don't think there's many pass marks, but you've got to take the situation that the players were in. I was doing the player ratings during the match and then after the match, and you don't know if you're being too harsh on the players because it was a difficult situation playing with 10, but you're still making silly errors in some areas of the pitch, which is more difficult, or it's easier rather to do when you've got when you're depleted on the park. But
ironically, we both said that Artemida was arguably Celtic's best player because he was the one that
he was tireless.
Things happen and try to atone for his error. I mean, nobody's having a go. Anybody can miss a penalty, but it was just a dreadfully poor effort. It was a woeful effort, and he'd struck the 2 at Easter Road with real confidence into the corner. So I was just hoping he'd run up and either dispatch it with the side foot to a corner or rattle it. He tried something different. He went down the middle, and it seems to be when players go down the middle that Celtic have problems with penalties. So, but
that's the thing, you've got to go right down the middle. If you take any side, then you run the risk of the goalkeeper saving it with his feet. You know, Xander Clark's a big guy. He's an imposing figure in that goalkeeping position, in that goal, in between the sticks, and
it just went all wrong and downhill after that, didn't it?
Yeah, it definitely did. Wata today struggled, didn't he? He had a solid start, and I did write that in the player ratings.
But I think he took a knock, didn't he?
And then he
never really recovered from that, and took it early on.
He's very, very lucky with the VAR call for the offside, because Beningame steals the ball off him. And nicks his pockets, basically. It's really, really poor, and he had plenty. I was saying to you at the game, I was saying he's got plenty of time here, plenty of time. It's almost as if the Wata heard us, and too much time on the ball. Beningame wanted the ball and nicked it off.
Beningame was good today.
He was a standout, and it's not the first time he's had a good performance against Celtic.
And Shankman just scores goals, doesn't he?
That second goal was just trademark.
The first one was trademark, the one that get ruled out for offside as well.
That's his forte.
That's good. And I mean, I'm not disputing that Hearts deserve to win the game, but they deserve to win the game because the circumstances were slanted in their favour after 15 minutes.
It's an uphill battle, is what we would say, but I don't really have any complaints with the result, given the chances that were created or lack of. But as with as I guess, Bernardo, 45 minutes, didn't really do too much.
Pretty anonymous, wasn't he?
He was brought off, and Kyogo was brought on. And
Kyogo looked lively when Kyogo came on. Created a future. They just needed one of them to go in, didn't they? There was one across the box where you were shouting at Kyogo for not getting a touch on it, weren't you? At one point, was it Matt O'Reilly delivered it? And Kyogo was inches away from it. And then there was a couple of others that Xander Clark made a save at. Celtic just needed a goal to sort of get a lifeline or a foothold in the contest, but I don't know about you, I just never ever felt that was coming. Could be wrong, but I mean, they stuck to that task and tried to go forward. It's a tough ask with 10 men, but they created they fashioned some opportunities, but I never ever felt that it was going to go for them today.
I'm just going from position to position. Ida, I thought, was one of Celtic's better players on the day. Maeda was pretty ineffectual after an initial good run that he sort of had. First 15-20 minutes, I thought he fell out of the game. Yang looked positive, looked dangerous, and then he was too dangerous, and that's what got him sent off. Red card or not, put yourself in that position, you run the risk. Interestingly enough, Celtic only made 2 changes on the day. They brought Kyogo on at half time, and then they brought on Daniel Kelly. I suppose that's a positive as well, that Brendan Rodgers is trusting Kelly with game time. He was brought on ahead of Odin Thiago Home as well, which maybe shows you where Home is in the pecking order at this moment in time. Maybe Kelly's doing a bit more in training at this point in time. I think he picked up a late booking, which was required. Johnson picked up a late booking for a late one on, was it Macaulay Tate, the young boy that came on for Hearts, who probably should have scored near the end, because he had a real chance. I think it was 1 or 2. He may have even had an opportunity to square it, but he didn't. I think he's seen the headlines, and he took a chance for himself. It was a really teamy effort at Joe Hart, and Joe Hart dealt with it well. Or it was a pretty much a textbook save for the veteran goalkeeper. I just think all in all it was another, I hate saying disappointing day at the office, bad day at the office, but because they seem to be saying that a lot, especially away from home this season and at home, to be fair. Celtic, even with the depleted squad, they can't be dropping points. I know it's no damage done, but it's an opportunity today.
It's a glaring opportunity missed, but I think the goal right today, there's extenuating circumstances for that. You cannot get away from it, and the manager's alluded to it, and he's went in studs up on John Beaton, hasn't he? And I've got to be honest, I think most Celtic supporters would find it difficult to disagree with the manager.
Yeah, Craig's coming in and saying I think that's more due to the lack of quality. I think he's talking about Daniel Kelly coming on at the park Lack of quality within the squad, Ryan. Major red flag with Kuhn not making an appearance, though. I agree with that. If you're looking for something different on the wing, and Kuhn's, £3 million has been spent, and he can just fill a bench spot. To be fair, it's the same with Lager Bielka, who cost 3 and a bit million, and he's actually making the bench today. That's probably down to injuries to Nawrowski, but good to see that he's still here and around at the club. I think his situation will get sorted in the summer. I think he'll look for a permanent. But I think that's maybe one thing that we need to talk about actually before the end. There has been reports of Abada leaving the club to join Charlotte FC. I think it was Pete O'Rourke from Football Insider. Of course, you take any rumours or speculation with a bit of pinch of salt, but what is your immediate response to that? The fact that it looks as if Liel Abada is going stateside?
I think the MLS was always calling for him.
It's the only one at this point in time.
So I think that the quicker there's a resolution to that for both parties, the better. And if that's what's going to happen, then I would assume that might be done fairly rapidly. But as I say, it's only from the X and Twitter, isn't it, and social media that we've seen that, so can't confirm if that's true or not.
I guess we'll hear more about this. It could be a sort of Yakimakis situation where the transfer window's shut, but Yakimakis, everybody kind of knew that he was going to go to Atlanta United. Yeah. I know that was a bit earlier on in the transfer window. I know it's March now, but the window's still open. Deals can still happen in the MLS. He's not playing for Celtic. It's not as if it's like Celtic need to go and buy a replacement, because he's not playing whatsoever. He's pretty much just training with the squad. Yeah. That's at the moment. He's not contributing in a playing sense. Disappointing. It's
of course it's disappointing.
It leaves a bitter taste in the mouth. I've got to be honest with you.
It does. Yeah. But as soon as there's a resolution to it, the better, and a quick one at that. But yeah, I think Celtic knew what they would face today. I think I agree with the manager that the seems to have taken that out of their hands today in terms of being a competitive contest. Because I still maintain that if it stays 11 versus 11, Celtic would have won that match.
Yeah, I would. From what we've seen, 11v11.
Opening exchanges, but it all hinged on the kind of penalty miss and then the sending off coming so quickly after that, didn't it?
From 11v11, we've seen this could cause problems to that Hearts defence, and they were causing
problems. Yeah, they're going to cause more problems.
You give an opportunity like that, and if it's a red or not, I feel like we're going in circles with the VAR chat, and that I get that it's a big factor from the game. I just think if you run the risk, it might not be a red card, but Yang runs the risk by putting his foot up, and I know he's trying to go for the ball, not trying to injure the player whatsoever. It is reckless. Could be construed as dangerous as well. But by how?
But the referee saw it in real time when he gave a yellow card.
Mm-hmm.
So why does it have to be re-refereed? That's the big question for me. And as you say, we're going around in circles. Celtic lost today, lost 2-0 to quite a hungry Hearts team. Beningame, I think, caught the eye for me for Hearts. Shankland does what he does.
He's a goal scorer.
And Xander Clark every now and again comes up with a good game against Celtic, doesn't he? He's done that in his career.
He's a Scotland international, so he's done it for
he's done it for St Johnstone many times, and and you can say I still think any penalty that's missed is a poor miss as opposed to a good save, but he was there to save it with his feet or his legs, whatever you want to say. So, but yeah, it's disappointing. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this. The manager felt that as well. That it's a huge opportunity missed and a big disappointment. But dust yourself down, you move on to the next one, and I think everybody is aware of, because of what happened this weekend, it's the old cliche that there's going to be twists and turns with 9 to go.
Mm-hmm.
They play each other twice as well, so it is what it is. Celtic trail Rangers by 2 points in the title race, and and they have to they have to find some way of.
Still in their hands. Still in their hands. The league is very much still in their hands. But
Rescuing that.
yeah, absolutely. The league is still in Celtic's hands. You know, they've got 2 games against Rangers as well. Both teams, I think, will drop points. It's just that's the nature of this season. I think both teams are going to drop points between now and the end of the season, out with the Celtic and Rangers games too. They're very much splitting. Both teams are splitting. You know, Rangers got beat yesterday. Celtic get beat today. It's that sort of title race. You know, the players have got.
That we're talking about.
There was no margin for error, but today there was. You know, it was annoying that you can kind of. I don't want to excuse them, but at the same time, you know, it's as is at the moment. It's an opportunity missed, but it's as is, and
Celtic can move on to the next. Errors, but you can't really pin it on the team, can you? Because we'll never know what would have happened.
One thing I'll say is that I think
players on a park, but we've got a rough idea what we
think. I don't think this is the last that we'll hear about this. I think this is a story that will rumble on. Yeah, it'll probably rumble on through the week, and I'm sure Hamish has got stuff to say about it tomorrow on the morning briefing as well. So we'll look forward to speaking to him. Thank you to everybody that's joined us. We've got 510 viewers, regardless of what football team you support. We appreciate you joining in and getting involved in the comments section. Everyone's welcome. If you enjoy what we do, then please press that subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. We have got videos coming out daily, pre-recorded videos, you know, from the manager, etc. Morning briefings. We'll have more stuff during the summer when Celtic are linked with players. We'll speak to experts. If you're interested in that, then please take your seat, basically take your early seat for what's coming up. You know, in the weeks and months to come. We really do appreciate it. We're under 500 away from 10,000 subscribers. We'd love to get to there before the end of the season. I think that's a very achievable total. So we would really appreciate it if you could do that. And please subscribe to the website. Instant analysis is on there. Player ratings is on there. Brendan Rodgers' post-match press conference in full is on there. We endeavour to transcribe every single press conference that's done, and just to get a feel of what the manager's saying. If you don't want to watch a video, then you've got the press conference to just look at. So that's available, and there'll be content every day this week. We'll have content dissecting the game tomorrow, as well as different analysis pieces and opinion pieces throughout the week. Probably talking about Abada as well, if that situation resolves itself one way or the other. Thank you to MPH Group and Navien for sponsoring this video, as they do with every video. We really do appreciate their support. All their links will be in the description below. Thank you to everybody that was watching. We really do appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock to dissect the game in a bit more detail and basically discuss what happened at Tynecastle today. But enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I know it's a bit difficult when Celtic don't get the result, but enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will be on tomorrow. Cheers, guys.